Morning, good afternoon, good evening. The demolition of people's houses continues. Let's make it very clear. This is a deliberate and calculated act by ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF thugs believe they have the divine right to rule Zimbabwe. And the only way they can secure that right is by making sure that a significant section of the Zimbabwe society is forever beholden to the party. Ever since the country's independence in 1980, ZANU-PF has kept a significant section of society in abject poverty and beholden to the party. The other day, we showed a video of some of the demolition of people's properties in Harare. And the primary reason given is that those people built homes, in some cases, decent homes, but they were being demolished because those people did not have title deeds. And yet the regime has deliberately denied people title deeds as a way of controlling political reasons. Here is the video I'm talking about.
Extra large! There's an extra!
Where the overwhelming majority of the population, millions of them, are living in structures that are not fit for human habitation. To be demolishing a decent home is criminal, to say the very least. But this is what is happening in Zimbabwe today. It has been going on for decades. Welcome to the program, Ben.
Good day to you and good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us. Now, we know when Mnangagwa took over presidency, they stated there and there that all land belongs to the president. So in any normal, thinking person is, if you want to keep the land that you have to be close to the president. And we know that getting close to the president means joining the ZANU-PF rank and file. So there and there, it takes away free will. You are then doing it out of survival. Most Zimbabweans who own land have their names documented in the ZANU-PF registers. Most Zimbabweans that are staying on land that was given to them without even title deeds have to have their names in the ZANU-PF register. This is how it works. Basically, if you want to have any way to build a temporary home or a permanent home, you have to have a ZANU-PF registration or ZANU-PF links. But now through the years, because now ZANU-PF has gotten exactly what they want, they have no need for these people anymore. Now this is why you are finding they are mainly targeting their own. And I've seen a lot of videos that have been circulating. A lot of individuals have been producing different types of cards and associations that they had joined in the hope that they will be protected because they are close to the president. They support the president's party. Boy, were they wrong.
The tragedy here is that the nation has been divided. There is the ruling elite, their cronies, and those who have got the political connections. And then there is the rest of us. The war veterans, those who actually fought in the liberation war, have been strung along for the last 46 years. Many of the war veterans are just as poor as the rest of the ordinary Zimbabweans. The regime has promised them wealth but never delivered. The few war veterans who have been given land, which it must be emphasized is the one resource that means everything to most Zimbabweans out there. They've been offered that land with an offer letter as contrast to the normal title deeds. The trouble with the offer letter is that it can be withdrawn, or somebody else can be offered the same piece of land and they have no recourse. This has happened again and again. 46 years after independence, you give somebody a piece of land with an offer letter. This has been done deliberately for the purposes of controlling those people. And most of those war veterans who have received these offer letters, they've quickly lost that piece of land if the party got any wind that they were supporting the opposition. And so most of these war veterans have been very careful when it comes to criticizing the regime. As for the rest of the ordinary Zimbabweans, particularly those in the rural area, there is no such thing as title deeds to ordinary people. The regime simply has refused to give title deeds to land, title deeds to the land, even 1 acre, to ordinary civilians. It's not as if the party did not know this. They know it. Here is Margaret Dongo confirming what I'm talking about.
They have wrong priorities, especially the current government. How can you go and build an airport which services a few people, and the majority are the elite and the so-called investors? Look at the rural. I made you come to interview me because I wanted you to have the experience of the roads that we are using. If we go today to our hospital there, you feel pity with that's a hospital in a rural area. If we go to our clinic, you feel pity. We have no piped water here. Do you know the reason why the rural people vote for ZANU-PF? One, they're intimidated. Two, the policy is that the rural people should remain poor and subservient to the government. They should remain poor, because if they remain poor, they continue singing the song for their master. This is why these people have been impoverished. It's for a reason. Because the moment, if you economic empower these people, they'll go out of hand. ZANU-PF will never have control over them.
That is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. We have now a situation where instead of the people holding those in leadership to account, ZANU-PF thugs are holding millions of our people to ransom. And as long as they maintain that stranglehold on millions, when we're talking of the rural voters, we're talking of 60% plus. ZANU-PF is guaranteed to have its wish to rule forever. Kutonga kusvika madonga amera nyanga. That is the reality. And we are not running away from it. We need to address it and deal with it.
You see, ZANU-PF can see what is happening right now. You know, when you look at the statistics that are brought out within, Zimbabwe, it says that, world remittance from those outside Zimbabwe, those in the diaspora, is in excess of $2 billion annually. And this money mostly is sent for family upkeep and development. And when we talk of development, people are building their homes. I mean, we can see what is happening in Zimbabwe. There's a lot of house construction going around. And ZANU-PF, as we all know, and like what Margaret Dongo testified, is they do not want to see Zimbabweans developing themselves. Because as they develop themselves, they are no longer dependent on the regime. They now get their free will back. They now can, question and demand for more. ZANU-PF cannot afford that. ZANU-PF wants a people where they give you chicken and chips and you sing and you praise them. ZANU-PF wants to give you temporal shelter, and they, being the landlord, will always be at your door giving you rules and regulations and control. That is what ZANU-PF is all about. Keep them poor. Keep them fighting for bread and butter. That way, they won't demand more. But I have also a problem that I think that needs to be addressed. Having a ZANU PF membership card does not mean that you are special. Zimbabwe is for Zimbabweans, all of us. Yes, some have, gone the extra mile and fought for the liberation of Zimbabwe. We thank them for their service. We are very much indebted to them. But that does not mean that they should inherit Zimbabwe. We are all heirs of Zimbabwe. I've seen a lot of people's house being demolished, and people brandish their cards to say, I belong to this, faction within ZANU PF, or I'm a war veteran. I'm friends of, liberation war veteran movement. I am, and so forth and so forth. That is not the prerequisite of you owning land. Just the fact that you are Zimbabwean, you are entitled to the inheritance. Every Zimbabwean by now should be owning some part of Zimbabwe. And on that part, they should be able to build their homesteads. I mean, right now we can see those that have took over from, the white farmers, the land that belonged to the white farmers. They have since given each other title deeds. As big as the vast, lands they are, why then are they denying the ordinary person that just has a few square feet? This again further supports what Margaret Dongo and we have been saying on this program, to say that ZANU PF is using this as a trump card to keep us at an arm's length, that we cannot develop ourselves and that we will constantly be enslaved by them. That is the problem that we face as Zimbabwe. And those that are always quick to brandish these cards, they are making themselves extra special to those others that are getting their houses demolished as well. We are all suffering the same thing, whether you have a card or not. The fight should be, we fought for the land. When Smith and company were defeated, we all became heirs to that same land. It never then belonged to the president. It belonged to everybody because the president did not go and fight by himself. We should all demand land. That was one of the fundamental reasons why we went to the war in the first place.
Just would like to give the final say to this gentleman who was the victim of the latest demolition.
Wanze. Webrama are kumakwe. Aiwe, iwe. Une land uri mwana kupike. Fuck off. Prisangwa. Azo prisera. Ndikone zvinhu zvapasisina ndiko.
No doubt the gentleman was sold these friends of the veterans of the liberation struggle card on the understanding that it will afford him some privileges. But this is typical of ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF does not want citizens. It wants serfs who will serve to perpetuate the regime's rule. All this chaos and suffering is for one purpose and one purpose only: to ensure that ZANU-PF retains control. This is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. It is a pity that 46 years after independence, many people have not woken up to that reality. The bottom line should be for all Zimbabweans that we want the rights and freedoms of all the citizens to be protected. The right to a meaningful vote, the right to own land, to own property. These are fundamental rights. They are not privileges. And why 46 years after independence, millions continue to be denied title deeds to even 1 acre of land so they can build their shack or mud hut, beggars belief. And yet this is the reality in Zimbabwe. It is tragic that we have allowed this madness to continue all these years. I feel sorry for the gentleman. No one should have to live in a shack, but at least you should be afforded the dignity if you have nowhere else to go. To be constantly harassed wherever you go, the demolition team is always not far behind you, is a nightmare that no human being should be subjected to. We really have to put an end to this madness. The people of Zimbabwe, particularly the so-called intellectuals, have allowed this madness to go on for far too long. 46 years. That's madness. That is unbelievable. Nations get the government they deserve. We in Zimbabwe, we cannot deny we deserve this corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical ZANU-PF dictatorship. Thank you and good night.